I am very excited to play this deck. Today we are looking at the historic version of Dredge. So Dredge is a archetype that has a bit of history when it comes to Magic. There are modern Dredge decks that are very powerful. There are Legacy Dredge decks that are very powerful. And in fact, Legacy has a very cool manaless Dredge deck that is so powerful that you don't even need to play any lands. It is a very unique way to play the game, Dredges, because you're generally just trying to ping pong together a bunch of very strong reanimation abilities and abilities that will trigger when things are placed into the graveyard for you. And in the historic version of this archetype, that's especially the case. So really what we're trying to do here is mill ourselves as fast as possible and then mill a bunch of key cards that are able to be brought back to the battlefield. So let's take a look first at the cards that we're trying to hit. So the thing that starts it all typically is this Narcomoeba. Narcomoeba is a 1/1 for 2, but the strength of this card is that when it goes from your library into the graveyard, it triggers and you're allowed to put it onto the battlefield. That will trigger things like Prized Amalgam. Prized Amalgam is a 3 mana 3/3 that says that if a creature entered the battlefield from your graveyard, then this card comes back to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can kind of make this work in not intuitive ways, but we'll get to those later. Then let's see what else is there. There is Silver Smoke Ghoul, which is our other main creature. This says that if you've gained 3 or more life at the beginning of your end step, this comes back from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. And then it also can be sacrificed to draw a card. So there's 2 angles that we're looking at. One is we want to mill ourselves really hard and get the Narcomoeba into play. That's going to trigger the Prized Amalgams, and we go from there. Then the Silver Smoke Ghoul requires that we gain 3 or more life this turn. And the way to do that is with Creeping Chill. Creeping Chill is a sorcery that you can either cast from your hand for 4 mana, or you can mill it into your graveyard. And no matter which way you end up doing this, it has the same effect, which is that it deals 3 damage to each opponent and you gain 3 life. So if you mill it with something and then this hits your graveyard, you're going to gain 3 life. You're going to essentially drain your opponent for 3, and that's going to trigger the Silver Smoke Ghoul, and that's going to come back. So it's actually very possible with this deck to have really fast starts. And I would generally consider a fast start to be like, 5-ish power on turn like 2 or something like that. But I mean, I've had games where your turn 2s and 1s are putting like, I've put down 5 power on turn 1 before, I'm pretty sure. So it's definitely possible to go really quick with this deck. Like your Stitcher Supplier can hit a Narcomoeba, which brings back a Prized Amalgam, and like, yeah, 2 Narcomoebas and a Prized Amalgam, you got 5 mana on turn 1, or 5 damage on turn 1. It's very possible. So let's go back to talking about the actual deck. In this one, we're basically just trying to mill as fast as possible, so we're going to be playing Founding the Third Path. First chapter allows us to cast a 1 or 2 mana spell for free. Chapter 2, someone mills 4, generally us, and then on Chapter 3, that is, you can cast something from your graveyard. Typically, that's going to be Glimpse the Unthinkable. Target player mills 10 cards. There's also Grizzly Salvage, which allows you to look for a land and then mill everything else into your graveyard. So this is essentially 2 mana mill 4 and also find a land, so that's pretty good. So those both can be found with Founding the Third Path. There's also Collective Brutality, which is essentially a Thoughtseize on your opponent, removes a creature or drains your opponent for 2. So if you can double Collective Brutality, then you're going to be able to trigger Silver Smoke Ghoul. Just kind of another little thing that's possible. We have a escape card in this deck, which is Sweet Oblivion. Since we're milling so hard, if we put this into our graveyard, it can allow us to mill more down the line. So yeah, Founding the Third Path has quite a lot of hits. The other mill spells are 2 creatures. One is Satyr Wayfinder. This is a similar thing where it is looking for a land and everything else goes into the graveyard, but because we care about our graveyard so much, this is really just find a land and then mill the 4 cards, or mill 3 cards, that is. And then, a absolute baller of a card, Stitcher Supplier, super strong in any sort of mill or reanimation deck. We always are playing this as a 4 of. ETB and on death, mill 3. Pretty sweet. And then in terms of the mana base, I've got a couple basics in here and a Takenuma and Boseiju. Takenuma is a good one because it involves milling and you can return a creature to your hand. That's just kind of nice, but generally it's just in here for the mill. There's also Boseiju. This is here for removal. And yeah, otherwise we are pretty much just Sultai. So you'll see the Zagoth Triumph down to all of the fetch lands, or not all the fetch lands, all the shock lands. Okay, that is Dredge in a nutshell. It is very, very strong, and if you want to play a deck that has a lot of triggered abilities that you don't have to resolve manually, which, man, I've played a lot of combo decks that make you need to click a lot. This is a breath of fresh air for the one sole reason that you're just basically watching triggers resolve without having to click. So nothing better to do now than to just go and show you how the deck works. Let's move on into round one. All right, we're in round one. I'm excited. So we have a lot of our payoffs that we hope to be in the graveyard in this hand. I think I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this one because we can get something that's a little bit better. And this is a pretty darn good hand here. We're going to get rid of the Narcomoeba because we don't want that. And we're just going to go ahead and start out here with a Takenuma, then a Yavimaya Coast to cast Founding the Third Path and get a Glimpse of Unthinkable going. Glimpse of the Unthinkable, rather. Okay, so what do we mill here? Got a Sweet Oblivion right off the bat, and otherwise it's a bunch of lands. If our opponent kills our Stitcher Supplier, I'm pretty happy about that. And this is this Madness? No, this is an interesting flashback deck. Not sure I know what they're up to here, but to me it seems like we are going to get our Founding the Third Path out. We'll have it enter on Chapter 1, and we are going to self-mill for 10 and hopefully hit something. Did we hit a Narcomoeba? Yes, we did. I would like to take action. And there goes some prized amalgam triggers. Got a Creeping Chill as well, and our opponent says that they are done. Wow. Yeah, so that's the power of Dredge. An absolute banger of a turn, too. Let's actually take a look at what we had in our graveyard that was triggering. So we had 2 prized amalgam triggers that would have come into play on the end of the next turn. And we just had a Creeping Chill on the stack as our opponent left. That would have drained them for 3, which would have triggered our Silver Smoke Ghoul. So that is prized amalgams times 2 with Silver Smoke Ghoul coming back. That is 9 damage plus the 10, 11, 12 that we have on board. On turn 2. And we also dealt 3 to our opponent this turn. That's 15 damage on turn 3, essentially. Like, what the heck is this deck? It's so strong when it works. Anyway, that was a round 1 to end all round 1s. Let's move into round 2. Alright, if this round 2 can go even half as well as the last round did, I'm going to be very happy. So Satyr Wayfinder can find us this blue land, and if it does, our Founding the Third Path Glimpse of the Unthinkable is going to be really strong. I think it's worth it to play for this turn 3. And then if we just randomly find a blue land, then we feel good. Okay, so we can feel good about shocking and getting a Stitcher Supplier in. Hitting a Narcomoeba now doesn't feel very good, and we do get a Creeping Chill. I'll exile that. Get a little bit of damage there. That undoes our shock. Looks like Satyr Wayfinder is the next play here. And this is definitely Charbelcher, so we are going to want to go pretty quick here. Life total's not going to matter because we're going to die in one shot. And oh man, we got the untapped blue land. Our next turn is going to be good. So what do we have loaded up here? We have the Silver Smoke Ghoul, so if we hit another Creeping Chill, then we have some more damage on board. They can kill us here. This could be Iron Crag. Yeah, it's Iron Crag Feet and we're dead. They must have Charbelcher in hand. There it is, alright. That is a fast Charbelcher hand. If you're not playing green, I think this is the fastest way that you can do it. Very cool. If you want to see Charbelcher, I have a bunch of videos on my channel covering both the Izzet and the Rakdos variant that this player is playing. There's also a lot of different variants of Charbelcher that you can play, even mono green. I haven't done all of those yet, but if you're interested in seeing those kind of decks, drop a comment and I'll be sure to get to them. Anyway, that was our round 2. Let's move on to round 3. Alright, we got a turn, or not a turn 3, a round 3. And we have Glimpse the Unthinkable as just the spell this time. It's generally strong enough that I'm fine having that. Oh, we got a second Glimpse the Unthinkable. That just got really strong. Okay. We'll use Underground River and cast Glimpse. We're playing mono red. Okay. Oh, I wish that Creeping Chill had just been one card deeper. Alright. Heal myself for 10. I see a Narcomoeba. Alright, double Narcomoeba. Yeah, and that's a Amalgam. Sweet. So 5 damage on turn 2. Feels pretty good. Do we have anything else? Did we mill a ghoul? We did mill a ghoul. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm not going to shock yet. I'm going to go ahead and attack, see if they want to trade. Okay, so they are down to not trade. I will play that tap. Then we have double Creeping Chill from hand, so we can actually do quite a lot of damage to our opponent. Next turn, I suppose I'll just Grizzly Salvage. And right now, I'm just looking for damage. Narcomoeba again. So that's our third Narcomoeba now. Okay, cool. So now we're going to have to hold here and start to kind of fill up our graveyard. Having just the Prized Amalgam only is not too good. So now that we've whiffed, let's see if we can do it here. We're up against a pretty quick mono red deck. I don't feel the need to block with Narcomoeba, not that I could anyway. Stitcher Supplier I'm happy to see. I can Grizzly Salvage, try to find a land, then set up a Creeping Chill next turn. Then Stitcher Supplier can sit there as a blocker. Okay, so do I want Yavimaya Coast? I guess I'll take the extra blue mana. Okay, good. Here is Stitcher Supplier. Take that damage. Their next creature that they cast is going to be big. Okay, no triggers yet. What's in the graveyard? Let's take a little look. Nothing that can reanimate, unfortunately, so I'm not super happy about that. If we keep 2 blockers back, we can deal with the Ferocidon. If they have a removal spell in these 2, then I feel bad, so maybe I'll just go in for 4 damage. They should chump block here and then kill an Narcomoeba. Yeah, so I'm glad that I kept that extra thing. Okay, so they're going to protect their life total, actually, which is interesting. A big creature is coming in this turn. That Bone Crusher Giant's going to be big. Yep. 6/5. They go to 13. Okay, so I'm going to use the Stitcher Supplier to chump block the Bone Crusher Giant for a turn. Silver Smoke Ghoul is also pretty good. I want to play this first because that can then come back with Creeping Chill. I go to 7. Sweet Oblivion. Let's mill me for 4. Alright, so there is a... Where is it? There's another Prized Amalgam into the bin. We're going to have to Creeping Chill next turn. None of these attacks are really good except for the ones in the air, so I'll just make those. And this is going to go down to the wire. They have a lot of creatures now, but they're also taking a bunch of damage. So now my Creeping Chills actually can drain my opponent out, and all I need to do is just chump block. So I'm going to chump block with Silver Smoke Ghoul and Prized Amalgam because I'll be able to get both of them back. 1, 2, chump. Okay. Yep, and they blocked... Oh, right. I guess the Etchings of Kumano is kind of bad. That's okay. If I recall correctly, we did have another Stitcher Silver Smote in here, so that's fine. So, play this out. Creeping Chill. Go to combat. Put them to 4. If they don't kill me here, that's it. They have to kill Stitcher Supplier to do it. Okay. I'm afforded 1 block. Oh, then they have the Embercleave. Alright, they put it on Crusher and I'm dead. Dang, okay. Just barely beaten by the mono red wins deck, or the red deck wins deck. So you used to see a lot of Anax, Torbran, and Embercleave back in the... When did these things come out? This was Ikoria? Is Ikoria the right time? No, this came out in... what the heck? The thing that had Aetherios in it. But anyway, yeah, so it's kind of cool to see these cards mixed in with the etchings of Kumano of the mono red decks of today. So, pretty cool little brew there. Let's move on to our round 4. Here we go. Okay, round 4. This is not a very quick hand, and it has a lot of the pieces that we want to reanimate, so I'm going to mulligan it. This is not too bad, and I get to put an Archimedes back. Okay, Forest into Yavimaya Coast. Yavimaya Coast, founding the third path. Auto pay. Chapter 1. Cast Glimpse the Unthinkable. Mill ourselves. See a prized amalgam in the bin. Mill myself again. Double prized amalgam, okay. So I don't have the black mana for this. Blade Stitch Scab. This is a zombies deck. Zombie aggro at that. So I'm going to Founding the Third Path on Sweet Oblivion then. Narco? Alright, Creeping Chill, I'll take those. Alright. They're down to 14 at least. Gassed, okay. Hopefully this is the turn that we make a bunch of stuff happen. Glimpse the Unthinkable. We are down to 30 cards. We're going to have to hit something soon. What? Oh, I can't cast this. That's funny. I have to decline. Bummer. I was completely confused by that. That's so funny. Yeah, so that's pretty sad. I'm not going to be able to get either of my Chapter 3s to do anything. And, yeah, is it just instant? No, I can exile Sweet Oblivion, can't I? Well, we'll see. Oh boy, Necro Duality. What a card. Well, we're back down to 20. We finally have something that we can do. We're going to Sweet Oblivion ourselves. Let's hope that we can hit a Narcomoeba. Darn. Creeping Chill. That's good. And did I see a... Wow. They go down to 3 and they'll just take it. I did not have anything else that was coming back that turn, did I? I guess we're lucky to get that win here, but... Yeah, that was kind of unlucky on the mills. Oh well, we'll take that. So that was our round 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a final round coming up. Let's try to end it strong. Alright, we got our final round here. Founding the Third Path is going to have to cast Grizzly Salvage. It's not the worst thing to do. I'll give it a try this game. Alright. Opponent is big into the Saheeli Rai lore, it would appear. Okay, Symmetry Sage, sure. Let's go ahead and crack in on a Breeding Pool, founding a Grizzly Salvage. Well, I'm going to have to just put the land in. We do get a Narco. Kind of sad to see that now, but okay, sure. Now I'm almost wondering if I just want to start playing the Silver Smoke Ghouls and then eat up their removal and or trade with some of their creatures. And then I can play towards a board state where I can just turbo kill my opponent. This is going to be an interesting one. So they deploy the Soulscar Mage. I mill myself for 4. Creeping Chill. Okay. If I Overgrown Tomb, I can get another Ghoul out. Or I can Founding the Third Path and Stitcher Supplier, but I don't have a thing for Founding yet, so I'm going to go ahead and pay 2 life and get a Ghoul out. Won't bother to attack. And I get 3 more power onto the battlefield. So we've exiled 2 Creeping Chill so far. And then I'm going to Grizzly Salvage, I guess, this next turn. Then I'll have 1 mana left over for Stitchers. Oh, okay. Wasn't really expecting Harmonic Prodigy. Is that supposed to... That's supposed to double trigger Symmetry Sage? No, none of these are Shamans. Oh, Shaman or Wizard. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's kill the Harmonic Prodigy, because that thing sucks. Doesn't matter what they do. It's going to be a 2-for-1 trade. We go to 16. We can cast... Oh, we can actually cast Collective Brutality. Does that kill anything? It does kill Soulscar Mage. That's pretty good. Yeah, let's do this. And then I would like to do this. How does Escalate work? Pay the Escalate cost for each mode chosen beyond the first. So I will do -2, -2. Would like to see what they have. And then... The drain for 2 is less important right now. I can discard 1 of my lands. And actually, you know what? I'm going to do all 3. Target this. Target an opponent. I'm going to autopay. Discard 1. Discard 2. Oh, nice. Got rid of a Wizard's Lightning. That's cool. Zagoth Triumph. Try to mill something. Prized Amalgam's good. Alright, once we hit this Narcomoeba, I'm feeling great. Put them to 8, and we have a potential win here on the line. We know that they have 1 land. They're going to be able to Monastery and go ahead and Reckless Charge it. Or maybe they have removal. So they do have removal for Stitchers. Now, what if we hit a Narcomoeba here? That would feel good. Oh, darn. Wasn't a Narcomoeba. Although Haunted Dead does... Haunted Dead is something that I can do now. Yeah, I like the idea of doing that. That gets an Amalgam back. I needed 2 cards for that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to sacrifice this, draw a card. Now we want a Haunted Dead. 1, 2. Those weren't getting used anyway. Get a Spirit, and we get a Prized Amalgam. So they cannot fully attack in here, unless they can kill me fully. Another Swift Spear. They're just going to push damage? Oh, they're going to do it. Hey, we were able to make it work. Alright. That was our Sultai Dredge. Hope you enjoyed the video. I feel like we got some pretty good games in today. It's a very... This is a deck that I would definitely qualify as different. It plays a little bit different, and the goals that you try to achieve in order to beat your opponent are a little bit different. Going through the graveyard is always a change of pace, and I think that this is still a step different than the normal reanimation strategies that you do see in Historic. So I'd recommend giving it a try just so that you have a more full understanding of the format, and so that if you ever go play against one of these decks, you can kind of sequence your plays around what you know that they're trying to do. So that was it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like. It helps me with the algorithm. And if you are new here and want to stay for more videos, drop a subscribe. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's all the ads for me out of the way. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good one.